What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And talk about some very, very key levels to watch for what the market's doing thus far. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer is in just 5 days. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So right now, the market's looking a bit more bullish as long as we hold this key support. We saw this dip that happened in the daytime, only to see some buyers step in to defend it. So the question is, what's going to happen from this point on? So I just want to say that for right now, I think we're about to get our bill auctions. The data should be coming out any minute now, and that might cause some volatility. But besides that, the market is still holding up quite decently. If you look at the 4 hour, excuse me, we're still technically range bound. Our main support is currently at 598, which is where SPY bounced off of so far. And then our resistance is currently around the 601 area. If we break out of the 601s, I'm going to be looking for an attempt to get back up to the high from Friday, then eventually break out. So what happened so far? We got this dip in the morning for the markets, for Nvidia, for the QQQ, and the others. We did talk about this. And then the support at 598 held up very, very well. We held support and we got a bounce. So for now, we are trying to push. When you look at the 30 minutes time frame, for example, SPY is trying to break out right over here. It's on a nice uptrend so far. So we have support at 600 and then 598. If we lose 598, we turn back down. Otherwise, this is favoring more upside for essentially the high of Friday. And eventually 603 to 605 is going to be our next target if this breaks. So we look a bit more bullish, but we'll just have to see if the move will last. So just keep that in mind. For other factors out there, we have ES. ES looks a bit more bullish. Now, if we end up losing 66, we're going to turn back down. But this is favoring upside right now. ES looks like it wants to be pushing back up to where this imbalance is, going up for about 6,100. If that breaks, we're looking for 61.20 is our target. So it's doing a good job so far. Looks a bit more bullish. For Nvidia, we're flat right now between a 138 and 140. Just know this, there was a potential inverse head and shoulders setup. So you had like a left shoulder here, a head, and the right shoulder. As long as we don't end up losing our main support at 138 and then 136.5, we're still favoring this nice range between 138 and 140. So we're stuck in between these levels. We want to break 142 to turn back up. Otherwise, we're just range bound on Nvidia. But just know this could be forming kind of like a right shoulder before it tries to bounce. There's always that possibility. We need to break 140 to turn, or 142 to turn bullish. Otherwise, we're range bound, and we'll have to see how things end up going. So just keep that in mind. We're stuck between 138 and 140 for now. Bitcoin has dipped quite a bit to balance this support here. We're trying to retest our 200 EMA. We need to break one very important level at 96,404. If we break that, we're looking for a pushback up to about 98,000. If you reject off that, we could be looking for a retest of about this low around 94,000. So watch that very carefully. We'll have to see what happens after that. For others out there, we have Tesla. Tesla is showing a little bit of weakness, but just know that this could be forming a giant cup and handle. We could retest the lows over here around like the 452 to 454 area. We're kind of stuck in between those levels. If we lose 452, we're looking for 450, then 445. There is that risk of it dipping a bit, but we'll have to see if we rebound or bounce. And if we break past 460, we could attempt to turn back up. For now, we're just range bound between 460 and 452 for the most part, going back and forth. We could dip a little bit more before it tries to rebound, so give this the time it needs. For other factors, we have NQ. NQ is forming a nice looking accumulation like structure. As long as we don't lose 28,836, this is favoring that it wants to push back up to 22,000. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 22,080 is our target. For the QQQ, we're looking for a rebound. As long as we don't end up losing 525, this is favoring 530. If that breaks, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to about 533. So watch 530 as our resistance and 533. We're holding support so far. We'll have to see how this ends up going. For Aapl looks more bullish. We're looking for 260 as our resistance, and then 258 is our main support. So I favor that this is going to be range bound for now, but there is upside potential if it could surpass 260. So far, it's doing a good job at holding support. Palantir is range bound between around the 82 area. If that fails us, we're looking for 80 flat, which is where our imbalance happens to be. But overall, it's on a very, very nice uptrend. So as long as we hold 80, it could still try to balance and make a way back up to 84. For the IW and Russell 2000, we're testing 225 as our resistance. As long as we close above 223.8, there is more upside potential. If we don't do that, this could turn back down. It looks a bit more bullish, but we'll see if support holds. For Coinbase, we look decent overall. We're range bound right here. We want to see this thing hold 273. Otherwise, there's going to be a risk of 268. So we'll see if that holds for a rebound. For Amazon, we're also looking for a rebound. We're looking for an attempt to hold 227 and then 225. Could dip here, then try to rebound for 229. As long as we hold 226, there could be a rebound. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. For Meta is also doing a decent job. There's a left shoulder here. There's a head and then like a right shoulder forming. We want to surpass 610 to turn back up. Otherwise, we're just range bound between 600 and 610. If 610 breaks, I will turn more bullish for the inverse head and shoulders that could be forming. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not, though. So give it some time. Microsoft is range bound between 440 and essentially 436. This is the range of the day. If we lose 436, though, this could be dipping to about 434. So we'll see if we break that resistance and start pushing. So give it the time it needs. For Google's trying to push higher. We have 198 as our resistance, not to mention 200. If we lose 195, we turn back down. We're range bounded here, but we have more upside potential nonetheless. That being said, I just want to say the market is still holding up very, very nicely, and there is more upside potential. But just be warned of the fact that we just got to hold this support. So as long as SPY is above 598, as long as we hold that, and also like 600, this is still favoring upside. There is a range right now, but we still favor upside a bit more looking at the setup on the bigger time frames. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Please have a very, very awesome rest of your day. One more thing I wanted to mention is the VIX. People have been talking about the VIX. Just know that there's a possibility that this could be rejecting here, by the way. So there's this imbalance over here. If we don't get back above 16, I think the VIX is at risk of dipping lower as the market remains bullish, at least for the time being. So we're in a very, very interesting phase right now. The market's getting ready for the next transition. Tomorrow's going to be Friday. Fridays are full of manipulation, and for now, we are looking bullish approaching it. So I'm going to be watching to see if this imbalance fills on SPY. If we get to 603 to 605, if we break resistance. So that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I do want to warn you to be a little bit careful with the way we're moving because there is a lot of chop right now. So if I go to like the 30 minutes time frame, we've been chopping a bit. We are technically on an uptrend, but there's a lot of chop that's going on simultaneously. Just be a little bit careful with that. It could still affect premiums. So be careful with the shorter term options like 0 day to expirations and such. I just want to warn you guys about that. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'll see you guys very soon in a couple of hours, and peace out.